Hi folks, it's been another interesting week in the world of flight. I'm Regan Tetlow, and as always, I'm your Airsports News host, here to bring you all this week's latest developments. So let's go. So as each country is one by one fighting down the coronavirus difficulties, let's start with a good news story and a new world record set by the Polish powered paragliding team. Krzysztof Romiński and Wojciech Czukowski flew an amazing triangle course distance of 280.5 kilometers, beating the old record by more than 30 kilometers. They spent 5 hours and 38 minutes in the air over the beautiful Polish landscape. It's a new record set up in an RPL2 tandem category. This team also have a world distance record in straight line flight. Congratulations guys. Also, Scandinavian pilots have been keeping themselves busy. Just a few days ago, Swedish paraglider Gilles Bansson broke the Swedish distance for paragliding twice in a short period of time. At the beginning of May, he flew a distance of 223 kilometers, and just a week ago, he beat this. Flying his ozone paraglider, he traveled 277 kilometers from the middle of Sweden, passing Sea Bay near Kalmar City and landed on Åland Island. He spent 7.5 hours in the air, and using amazing thermals on that day, he could travel with an amazing average speed of 40 kilometers per hour. Also, glider pilots in Denmark have crossed seas several times and completed long distances in Danish territory. Beating their national records, Paul Kim Larsen, distance 856 kilometers, Per Winther, 500 kilometers, and Vladimir Fedorov's 718 kilometers, and Maz Lyle 815 kilometers. What a week for breaking records. Congratulations all. We also had a quick call with Polish sailplane pilot Lukas Wojciech about the current situation in this sport.
No, cała nadzieja w czerwcu i końcówce sezonu, bo podobno w czerwcu możemy zacząć rozgrywać zawody szybowcowe, jakiekolwiek. Krajowe zawody Mistrzostwa Polski mają szansę się rozegrać w tym roku i lipiec, sierpień mam nadzieję, że będziemy latali i się ścigali. Zobaczymy jak to będzie. No na razie czekamy na tą decyzję i nie możemy się doczekać. Czekamy na decyzję na wprowadzenie tego całego 5. etapu odmrażania sportu i tam jest możliwość organizowania zawodów sportowych do 50 uczestników. Takie zawody krajowe myślę, że można będzie przeprowadzać, bo my nie musimy przekraczać granic, będziemy sobie w jakichś tam małych gronach zawodników rywalizować. A te wszystkie imprezy, które są międzynarodowe, na które zawodnicy muszą przylatywać z innych krajów, z innych kontynentów, no to siłą rzeczy nie ma jak ich rozegrać, bo po prostu nie ma jak się przetransportować. No, mamy tylko jeden szybajc w tej chwili, taki lepszy, na którym możemy trenować, my jako kadra. I w tej chwili lata kolega na szybowcu. No ja mam nadzieję, że w ciągu najbliższych dni będę też mógł rozpocząć swoje treningi.
So after the good news, here comes the bad news. Unfortunately, after a series of international air sports competitions being cancelled or postponed, the authorities of the gas balloon Coupe de Mont Gordon Bennett decided to postpone the event until 2021. We spoke with the organisers about this decision.
To, co się dzieje w sporcie i na świecie, no to jest oczywiste, więc chyba nie wymaga komentarza. Gordon Bennett jest na tyle ogromnym wydarzeniem logistycznym, ponieważ piloci z całego świata musieliby się zjechać w jedno miejsce, a potem znów polecieć w różne zakątki Europy. To na dzień dzisiejszy jest niemożliwe i ciężkie do przewidzenia, czy byłoby możliwe za 3 miesiące, więc ta decyzja musiała zapaść na 90 dni przed datą imprezy. Ona jeszcze nie jest do końca formalna, ponieważ jak gdyby formalności między Aeroklubem Polskim, FAI w tej chwili są w toku, ale wszystkie strony zaakceptowały ten scenariusz, który jest, czyli nie kasujemy imprezy, przenosimy ją na przyszły rok. Wymagało to zgody strony szwajcarskiej, która ma prawo do organizacji Gordon Bennett w przyszłym roku. Szwajcarzy się zgodzili, za co im dziękujemy, więc mamy możliwość organizacji tej imprezy w przyszłym roku. Nadal będzie to 64. Puchar Gildopera. Tak na dobrą sprawę, organizując tak duże wydarzenie, to na pół roku przed imprezą, a jesteśmy 3 miesiące przed imprezą, to musisz mieć zakończone 80-90% działań, więc my w marcu byliśmy gotowi, cały ogrom logistyczny, hotele, ceremonie otwarcia, ceremonie zamknięcia, rozdanie medali, scenariusze, zaproszenia, lista pilotów, to wszystko już było w zasadzie dograne. My wchodziliśmy w etap, który ja nazywam poniekąd trzecim etapem, czy tam ostatnią prostą.
The decision to move the Cup till next year comes with the news from the FAI to organise the 5th Junior Hot Air Balloon World Championship, also in Poland at Leszno, from the 9th to the 15th of August 2021. Many of the long-standing air sports have been hit hard by this pandemic, but not so much the modern ones, and a good example of this is the Drone Racing League. Every single week, spectators in the US can watch racing events broadcast by NBC television. And I had an opportunity to speak to the current DRL World Champion, Alex Vanova, who kicks off the 2020 season as the defending World Champion.
It's amazing how many aviators we interview that are actually living in hangars on airports. There's so many.
Yeah, you know, it's a really cool style of living. I've been living in a hangar for about 6 years now, give or take. And you know what, growing up kind of on an airport for a lot of my childhood, getting to go for airplane rides, meeting a lot of people, talking about stories with life and everything, you know, it's just been a huge blessing and huge honor. There's so much wisdom and it's just a lot of fun.
Well, first of all, Alex, congratulations on your title, DRL World Champion from 2019. How does that feel?
Feels really great. I worked very hard to get that title. A lot of years of preparation, so many practice batteries through my drones just to get to that point, and for it all to culminate into a very, very nice World Championship title. That was just a dream come true for me. That was the cherry on top to all my hard work.
Tell me about your inclusion into DRL. What was that like?
Well, you know, getting into DRL is just a bit different. You know, every league's a bit different, right? But DRL is really the premier league in drone racing. So you get into DRL and you realize that you're in this professional sport all of a sudden. You're not just at this back routes race in someone's backyard or in some field. You're at a production set and you're at a place where they are crowning the best pilot in the world. And because of that, they have the best pilots in the world. So you show up with kind of this nervous feeling of, oh my gosh, the competition's really intense. I'm going to have to fly better than I ever have, and not just for one race, but for every single race of the season.
So tell me a bit about the pandemic and how it's affected you there in Texas. Has it adjusted your life in any way, or have you been able to carry on as normal?
Yeah, you know, the pandemic has definitely adjusted my life quite a bit. But at the same time, it's really been a great help because now I'm not doing as much traveling. I'm not getting distracted by as many things. I'm here at home and I can focus. I'm actually able to train right outside the hangar walls here, which is a huge, huge blessing for me because I don't have to drive somewhere to get my drone racing training in. I can just walk outside and fly. So the pandemic's actually helped me train more.
And what would you say finally to any young kids right now watching, thinking about getting into drone racing? What advice would you give to them?
Pursue it. If any kids are out there trying to get into drone racing, go ahead and pursue it. I mean, the best part about drone racing is you can get the simulator. It's like $20 on Steam. You buy the drone racing league simulator. You can every kid probably has an Xbox controller or something. If not, you can ask for Christmas or something, $100 drone controller. You can hook it up to your computer, you can fly the simulator, you can compete online against DRL pilots and everyone else in the world. You know, get that practice in. Just pursue it. And you know, besides that, my best piece of advice is to remember to have fun, because you're going to have your good days and you're going to have your bad days. It's inevitable. But if you always look at both the good and bad days with a positive attitude, then you'll keep having fun, and having fun is the most important thing. Obviously the competition's amazing, going fast is amazing, but if you're not having fun, then you're doing it wrong.
And if you want to watch the full interview with Alex, you can visit our YouTube channel right after the news. We do have news of one group who are not too worried about this coronavirus, and that's the organisers of the first Hike and Fly event in Poland, who are inviting pilots to take part in this amazing event in the Beskid Mountains. The race will last 33 hours and the title will go to the pilot to log the greatest distance during the event. The event is on foot and with the help of a paraglider. The starting date will be announced on the 9th of June and the starting list is still open. Peter Jonas first, Krzysztof Wojtaszek second and Michael Wojtaszek third. That was the podium on the World Rally Flying Championships in 2018. This year, the 22nd edition of the World Championships was due to be held in South Africa. I caught up with organiser Mary de Klerk to ask about the prospects for this year.
And you've got some bad news regarding the 22nd World Rally Championships.
Yeah, so we've been in the planning for the 22nd World Rally Flying Championships for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
It really has been a dream to hold it in South Africa, and we have established a very strong working committee. We've all been pulling together, we've been having regular meetings, we've had practice runs, we've had mini competitions, we've done everything we possibly can do to make the 22nd World Rally Flying Championships the biggest and the best the world has ever experienced.
Yeah.
And 2 months ago, none of us saw this train coming down the track. None of us. But I suppose, like anything, life can change in an instant. And unfortunately, it has hit us, and it's hit us badly. And we have had to cancel all aviation events moving forward until possibly right up until the end of the year. And especially our national championships has been culled. The world championships has been culled. What we are planning to do is to move it out by exactly 1 year. So we will hold the event in the same place at the same time in 2021. So the 22nd World Championships will take place in Stellenbosch in November 2021. And the only difference is that we'll all be another year older. Some of us might not be flying anymore. We might have some new younger teams participating. But the good news is it gives us another year to practice.
Yes, in many of the air sports, especially in drone racing as well, you have the simulator competitions, and in other areas as well. It's interesting to see how we're mixing and changing and progressing and evolving as well because of this problem we've got.
Well, you know what? We can't sit back in our studies and say, well, this is the end of the world. We've got to sit in our studies and say, this is the beginning of the new world. And how are we, as aviators, going to embrace the opportunities, the online opportunities, the digital opportunities? How are we going to embrace it and convert our knowledge into the new world power?
And it's some good news from my homeland, the United Kingdom. Recreational general aviation flying is now allowed in England following the latest government coronavirus advice. In practice, this means solo flights only or flights where everyone is from the same household. Recreational general aviation is currently still not allowed in Scotland, Northern Ireland or Wales. The European Aviation Safety Agency announced the winners of its first General Aviation Safety Award. It recognises the most safety beneficial smartphones, tablets or applications for use by general aviation pilots. The first prize of €8,000 goes to Sebastian Timone for the Open Glider Network. OGN provides a unified tracking platform for gliders, general aviation aircraft, paragliders, drones and other small airborne objects. It reduces the risk of mid-air collisions by connecting information from a range of devices. And if you want to see a practical benefit of this device, just look at what happened in the US a few days ago. The FAA is investigating after drone footage of a close encounter with the Blue Angels display team appeared online. In one shot, the 6 FA-18s appeared to pass within a few hundred feet of the drone as they performed an American-strong formation flight over Detroit on May the 12th. The video appears to be authentic, and the drone operator could have serious problems if the FAA catch up with him. Now let's take a look at our Hero of the Week. Charles Augustus Lindbergh, born in 1902, was an American aviator, military officer, inventor and an activist, and he became an aviation icon after a one-of-a-kind non-stop flight from New York to Paris. Exactly 93 years ago, on the amazing Spirit of St. Louis aircraft, Lindbergh flew a record distance of 3,600 statute miles, spending more than 33 hours airborne. He took off from Roosevelt Fields in New York on the 20th of May 1927 on an incredibly heavy loaded aircraft, carrying more than 1,700 litres of fuel. The aircraft fought ice and hard conditions, flying blind through fog for several hours, and refused to take heavy radio equipment on board. On arrival in Paris, he was welcomed by a crowd of 150,000 people. It was one of the most important achievements in the history of the human race, becoming the seed of transcontinental air transport. And finally, here's our Aviation Hall of Fame. On the 17th of May 1943, a miracle happened during the Second World War. The flight crew of the B-17 Memphis Belle completed their combat tour of 25 bombing missions over Western Europe. The Memphis Belle was only the second B-17 to survive 25 missions. On the 18th of May, American military pilot Jacqueline "Jackie" Cochran set up a new aviation speed record. Exactly 67 years ago, she flew the Sabre 3 at an average speed of 652 miles per hour. During the course of this run, the Sabre went supersonic, and Cochran became the first woman to break the sound barrier. Also on the 18th of May, but in 1927, Jerry Adamek was born. He was the first ever glider pilot to officially perform the world's first demonstration of a glider towed behind a helicopter. On the 18th of May 1969, the Apollo 10 mission lifted off with its Saturn V rocket from Cape Canaveral in Florida, on a full dress rehearsal for the landing on the moon that would follow with Apollo 11 2 months later. During the Apollo 10 mission, everything except an actual landing was done. That's all for this week, folks. Don't forget to check out our full-length interviews on the Air Sports Promotion YouTube channel. If you are enjoying this show, don't forget to give us a like and, of course, give us a share as well. And if you have any news from your region, you can let us know on our email, news@airsportspromotion.com, or you can get in touch with me directly on Twitter. So from me, Regan Tetlow, we'll see you next week. Stay safe, and as always, keep your eyes on the skies. Ghostbusters are here. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.